right, guys, welcome back to another Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. It is Monday, October 24th. Once again, we've got a packed show, so let's just jump right into this. This next guest, this young lady, oh, and before I forget, check out the Chik-fil-A studios. We are excited to be here. It's taken me some time to get used to this because it's pretty fancy. So I appreciate Chik-fil-A. It's cool to be here in the Chik-fil-A studios. And our guest right here, you've probably seen her around town. If you're at all involved with animals or trying to do rescues or just have a heart for animals, you have probably seen this young lady around town. She does a phenomenal job. I think every now and then that I do, like, oh, I've helped so many animals or something. I'm JV compared to what's going on with her and all that. So without further ado, young lady, if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself and let them know who you are here with.
Definitely. So my name is Megan Arreguin. Most people know me by Megan Driver. I am the founder of Saving Animal Lives 24/7, which is a nonprofit animal rescue. And we have an umbrella off of our animal rescue that offers spay and neuter to the community of Crossroads.
Because one of the big deals about the Crossroads, it's kind of I don't know if I would say it's a black eye on our town or how I would describe it, but you know, we have a high population of strays. We have overloaded kennels, and it just seems like it's a problem here in Victoria that we really struggle with. And you know, and one of the big deals seems to be spaying and neutering, you know, because if the animals like to be animals and do what they're going to do,
right.
and if we don't get them fixed, you know, Bob Barker used to say it on the Price is Right all the time, please spay or neuter your animals, but there's a lot of truth to that, and sadly, you know, a lot of people are able to give homes to these animals, but they may not be able to afford the cost of getting these procedures done, and this is kind of where your organization comes in, and where you've jumped in with other people to really try to make a difference. So if you wouldn't mind, let's talk a little bit about that spay and neuter program that you've got going.
Yeah, so overpet population is a huge thing, and it's actually a whole state of Texas. We're one of the top 3 states that euthanize the most in the whole 50 states. And in our area, we're actually probably some of the worst. South Texas is the absolute worst when it's talking about numbers. And so if you just think about it, we have Victoria, Port Lavaca, Edna, Cuero, you know, whole 40-mile radius, you have a shelter in every city that has to euthanize for space. And we're just talking, you know, five local cities. And then, you know, 20 miles this way, there's another one. Then you go to Corpus and it's the same thing. And so we're just overpopulated so much that the shelters are full, rescues are full, the streets are full, animal control can't pick up because they're full. And so the solution, I mean, we can adopt all day. We can rescue, we can relocate, but the solution is going to be fixing them. That's how you stop the numbers. And spaying and neutering also for education purposes is not just about stopping babies, it's about healthier pets. And so my animal rescue we used Crossroads and Dr. Mark for everything through our animal rescue, but we partnered up with him to offer spay and neuter services to the whole community of Crossroads. There's no restrictions. It doesn't matter if you live in the county, if you live in the city, if you live in Port Lavaca, it's the Crossroads area. You sign up with us and you get your pet fixed for free. We also microchip for free, and we just started offering low-cost vaccinations, $5 rabies, $5 parvo vaccinations. We don't care how many animals you have. We'll fix them all, cats, dogs, because we want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. And that's where we start, is by fixing them.
Well, a couple points. One, the microchip I want to touch on. We just got back from Colorado, and we were sitting in our yard and had a senior weenie dog walk up right next to us.
Yes.
And it was funny because it was literally at a time when we were talking about having weenie dogs, because we had just lost our last one after 19 years. But when that little dog walked up, we took it and we got it scanned for a microchip, and it had one. And we were able to reunite it with its owner. That luckily, I made the mistake a long time ago, is I got one of my dogs microchipped and then forgot to update the information. So it did absolutely no good.
Right.
But this young lady did, and we were able to return that dog to its home and get it back to its owner. And so I just wanted to commend her on that and positively enforce that those microchips work and that they're a real game changer, you know, because this little senior weenie dog had traveled over 2 miles from their home across multiple busy roads. How the dog made it, being 90% blind and all that, just
Yeah.
and made it to my front step. Just boggles my mind. But it was almost 2 miles, and we were able to get it home. You know, and so that was phenomenal. And I talked my way right past my second point, so I forgot that one. But saving animal lives 24/7. I see you transporting animals to like Colorado, all these crazy places. How did you end up getting into the rescue thing, or did it just get into you?
It definitely just happened to me. Fate happened. About 7 years ago now, I saw someone purposely run over a dog in front of me, and I didn't even have animals personally at that point. I had a cat and a dog, but I didn't do rescue. I saw it happen, went, scooped him up, put him in my car. I mean, he's dying in my vehicle, and I don't know what to do with him. And at that point, we went from scooping him off the road to going to Crossroads and meeting Dr. Mark for the first time, him rehabilitating him, getting in touch with the rescue, and then him getting adopted. I was hooked. It was the best feeling ever to go from getting him off the road. And then I wasn't educated about it. I was like, what? People do this? People run over pets and leave them on the side of the road? No one ever told me this. I've never seen it. Once I saw it, then I saw it all. It just continued to see and be, and it was in my eyes the whole time. I was just blinded. It was out of sight, out of mind. If it did happen, I didn't notice it because it was just so common to see, I guess, animals on the side of the road that I just didn't realize. So after we did Lucky, he was a black lab that was saved. He was my first, and after that it was 2, then 7, and then I started the transporting when we were going to Minnesota and Wisconsin, and then I established all my partners in Colorado. And so now we go with about 50 to 80 cats and dogs every month, every 4 to 6 weeks. We fill up cats and dogs, go to Colorado with those, empty the shelter, come home, fill up again, and go again. And so we're saving these cats and dogs from all over Texas. Our main partner is Crossroads. A lot of our community will take their pets into the vet, sick. I ran over my dog was attacked, my dog was shot, euthanize it. And they'll call me and they'll say, hey, Megan, this pet needs help and they want to euthanize it. Do you want to take on the bill? And I'll say, let's go. And we'll save them and we'll assume the bill and move forward with saving that animal, whatever needs to be done, whether it's 4 or 6 orthopedic surgeries. We make sure that pet gets it, is fully healed, and then off to Colorado they go.
I could talk all day about this stuff because even as you're talking, it hits me in the feelers because I don't do a quarter of what you do, but in the same breath, like every one of those rescues hits me personally because dogs and animals are some of the most selfless things on earth. And then it's like you said, you're ignorant to so much of the abuse and neglect until you see it. And then once you see it everywhere. And it's really sad, you know, that we have so many of these wonderful dogs and cats that lose their lives over neglect and just nobody wanting to give them a home.
Right.
When I would challenge that most homes don't realize that they wouldn't be saving the animal would be saving them. And we have a home full of entire rescues right now. Every dog that we have is a rescue. And there's just something different about a rescue. They hit different. Like they're grateful for life. And thank you for what you do to help all of them. I know it's constantly an uphill battle, but I appreciate that you keep climbing and you keep fighting and you keep going. Rescue can be a rough world, you know, and we wear our heart on our sleeves and we can get in each other's backyards and each other's lanes and we can do all that kind of stuff. But I think the end goal is still the same, to help. And so I commend you on all that. Very quickly, in summary, and I'm sorry I talked away your time, but for people that are interested in this program or want to contact you or want to get more information, how can they do so?
So for the Spay and Neuter program, the thing to do is to call me on my cell phone. It's on social media, it's everywhere, it's on my business cards, it's shared. You give me a call on that number, I'll set you up with the link to fill out the form, submit your pets, and get in line.
Do you need volunteers or donors or people to help defray these costs?
So definitely both programs. By Animal Rescue, that is saving the animals of the Crossroads, whether it's from the vet, saving them from Victoria Animal Control before they're euthanized. I pull from Port Lavaca before they euthanize. All of that is ran off of donations. My Animal Rescue does not have routine donors. It's literally me on Facebook asking for money, bake sales. I've literally stood on the corner before with a sign that says rescue vet bills. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure these animals get what they need. So for our animal rescue, we always need donations for our vet bills, for the broken ones that I love the ones that are broken, that other rescues don't want to foot the bill. They just don't. And I do. And then for the spay and neuter program, that umbrella's off of our nonprofit. So that also needs donations, and that's ran strictly through Crossroads. So anyone that wants to donate can contact me, and then we'll run those donations through the vet.
Outstanding. Well, and a big thanks to Dr. Mark and them out there too, because that's my vet, and they've helped. We've come in there with quite a few broken ones too, and he just jumped right in and helped us, and he helped us defray things, knowing that it wasn't even our dog, but we were trying to help, and he met us and he helped us, and it was great. So guys, make sure you support him. It's animal rescue is very near and dear to my heart, but it is a uphill battle, and they need all the help they can get. And so let's take a quick break, and we will be right back with our next guest.
I'm David Murphy with Chik-fil-A Victoria. Chik-fil-A made its debut in Victoria, Texas way back in 1980 with our first restaurant in Victoria Mall. 20 years later, our first freestanding location opened at Whispering Creek. Fast forward another 20 years and our licensed location opened inside the UHV University Commons. Next is our biggest endeavor yet, a massive new restaurant taking up an entire city block on Rio Grande. When it opens, we will have grown our Chik-fil-A Victoria family from 20 team members back in 1980 to more than 250 dedicated and caring people who are proud to serve our guests and community by building lasting relationships and creating unforgettable experiences. It is our pleasure to serve you, Victoria.
Welcome back to the Chick-fil-A studios. You know her, you love her, Miss Michelle Hall. She is back here. We appreciate her. Young lady, this event coming up, this is y'all's big one. This is the big, cool, just flood the river type thing. Tell me all about it. I know people have already figured it out already, but just in case they haven't, talk to me.
On Saturday, October 29th, is our third annual Victoria Duck Safari. It takes place at Ethel Lee Tracy Park, and we will release 10,000 ducks into the pond, and the winning duck wins $5,000. And it's a fun-filled family day. We start at noon, the duck launches at 2. We'll have food trucks. We're having something called a Trail of Treats, where all of our sponsors and nonprofits will have booths going along the sidewalks. And of course, it's the Symphony, and so we'll have music. We've got guest musicians. We've got all 3 VISD middle school bands coming to perform.
How cool.
And then the bulk of the music will come from Jerry James, so he's returning to perform. And it's just a great day. Food trucks. The fundraiser is for the Symphony, but we also partner with 26 different nonprofits, and for every duck that they have adopted for their team, it's called a buck a duck, they'll get $1 for every duck. And so they're hoping that their duck, of course, is the winning duck, but it's really a fun family event. And right now we're in the heat of duck season.
And this is a third or fourth? What did you say?
It is the third.
Third.
Yes.
Now, but this being the third, you've had to fight for all 3 of these, because
oh, my word.
all the, and that's one of the things I wanted to commend you on, because this is such a great idea that it's so many different organizations that are trying to get on the same page and work together, which by itself is an incredible feat to really do all this. But then you start mixing in the real world and all that kind of stuff. And I think was it weather last year or something?
Yes, the first year we had it, we were able to have it at the Guadalupe River, Pebble Beach at Riverside Park. And it worked out perfectly, and it was the middle of COVID nonsense. And so it was a great opportunity because you couldn't really have events. So this one was outside, there could be social distancing, and everybody kind of came together because, you couldn't really do much back then. Then the second year, the river was totally overflowed.
Something happened, it flooded or something. I couldn't remember what it was.
We had to pivot last minute, and we went to Ethel Lee Tracy Park, and it really worked out beautifully. It's a much more contained environment, and so and it lends itself more for people being able to see much closer and safer. You don't have to fall over the embankment into the river. So we've decided to go back to Ethel Lee Tracy Park. Now, William Myers is our chair, and he's a little worried about the wind or lack of wind. So the General Land Office generously partners with us on this. and they're bringing an airboat. So if they pour all those ducks in the water and they don't go anywhere, they will turn on that airboat and make them go.
So from my own ignorance here, like how are they gonna drop that? Do they put are they gonna park it at the end of the pool? Or are they gonna drop that thing in the pool, the airboat? I'm kind of curious how they're gonna do this.
I don't know. We didn't have to use it last year. It was there, but we didn't have to use it. So I don't know. We'll have to see if they actually have to use it this year.
How cool! Well, I like the rolling with the punches. You know, I mean, it's anytime you want to host an event or do something in town, just the sheer logistics of it by itself are hard. You know, and then you mix in all the other groups and all that kind of stuff, and then 10,000 ducks, and I can see how it gets a little choppy there. But no, I really appreciate it, and this event coming up, you know, you've got this, but you also have some other stuff coming up. Let's talk real quickly about that. You guys have some concert stuff coming up.
Right. October's a really busy month for the Symphony with our 2 concerts and then the Duck Safari. But also in this same month, or the beginning of November, tickets go on sale for our Pops concert. Our Pops concert happens in January. This year it's on January 21st, and it's typically our most popular concert of the year. And so we put those tickets on sale November 1st, and we're bringing Jason Scheff. He was the lead singer for Chicago after Peter Cetera left. For 40 years, Jason Scheff was the lead singer, so it's called Jason Scheff Chicago Nights. So him and his band are coming, and they'll be performing with the orchestra, singing Chicago's greatest hits, basically.
When you say Pops, what does Pop stand for? What is that?
It's more of a less straight classical.
Okay.
You know, straight classical being Mozart, Beethoven. This one is usually an artist. Like we've had, you know, Neil McCoy, Wilson Phillips. We've had different groups come in to perform with our orchestra, and so that's just considered Pops.
I got you. Okay, no, I was just, I'm learning more about the Symphony
Orchestra
Orchestra
and you've
every
been,
day.
and it's fantastic.
And I'm glad you said that, because I will say it every single time you come on here. Guys, if you haven't gone, do it. Like, I'm not trying to be sexist or narrow out the guys, but it just, again, until I had the pleasure of meeting you all and getting to know you, I don't think this is something I ever would have done, honestly, just being that guy and what have you. But I was so wrong, so wrong. And you guys have incredible talent up there. And these, you know, for the people that think this is some little tiny podunk Victoria, like you guys just slap it together, duct tape it up there, and throw some. That's not true. Like, this is real. Like, I walked in, I was like, oh my God, like, this is bad, legit stuff here.
Yes,
you know?
we are in our 49th year. Our maestro has been with the orchestra over 20 years, and all of the musicians are professional. Unfortunately, we only have 4 that live here locally. We would love to have more, but the rest we hire from the major metropolitan areas, and these are people who have, you know, master's degrees, doctorates in music education. Some of them have, you know, different day jobs, but they've studied their instruments a very long time, and they're very good.
No, I could not agree more. I still brag about the people, you know, I'm going to say around peepaw player. Like, I still can't say that part, but it's still one of my favorite segments ever. Like, she was just, that was the coolest private concert I've ever had.
It was mesmerizing, wasn't it?
I was just, I've watched that thing probably 50 times. I'm probably one of her biggest fans. Like, it was really cool. And so, but no, thank you guys. So one more time, real quick to summarize, Victoria Duck Safari, give me the nuts and bolts.
Saturday, October 29th, noon to 3, at the Lee Tracy Park.
Perfect. And then on the Pops concerts, they can start buying tickets.
November 1st.
Outstanding. Well, please come back and tell me all about this stuff. We look forward to working with you guys in the new year and maybe putting together some fun stuff and working on that. But again, thank you for bringing music and fun and charity to our Crossroads area. It's needed and it's appreciated, and I wish you guys the best of luck with this. I know you're going to do great. Guys, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with our final guest.
Since 1932, Wallach & Volk has been closing mortgages and doing it the right way. The reason why the Volks opened up a bank at the height of the Great Depression was because the bank needed to be opened at the height of the Great Depression. And it was good for the community at that time. A lot of the banks were going under. In order to keep that community sound and stable, it was something that they did. I think that says something about who Wallach & Volk was 85 years ago. And the only way you get to continue to do it is if you consistently do it great. And we plan on doing this for another 85 years.
Welcome to Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw in the Chik-fil-A studios. Speaking of Chick-fil-A, add a kick to your fall routine and enjoy the seasonal spicy deluxe sandwich from Chick-fil-A. It's a spicy twist on the grilled chicken sandwich. And paired with the cilantro lime sauce, it's the perfect addition to your fall routine. It's available now, but only for a limited time. So excuse me while I order mine now on the Chick-fil-A app. All right, guys, we are back in the Chick-fil-A studios with our final guest. And just like the one before, this young lady is all over town. She's got about 50, 60 different projects going on at any given time. But the common denominator of all of them is the fact that they all seem to involve helping others and helping others to progress and do things. And so I think that's really neat. And for the ones that don't know you, if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourselves and introduce yourself and let them know who you're here with today.
My name is Karissa Winters, and I'm here with the Innovation Collective.
Good deal. And you guys have something coming up here this week, it looks like. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's the South Texas Farm and Ranch Show, and what we're actually doing is we're working with high school students. It's a seminar that is being put on, and it's the first one of its kind that they're doing. And it was one of those ideas that was sparked thinking, why aren't we showing innovation? Because in ag and ranch, farming is so much innovation. Those John Deere tractors, as you know, it's basically they drive themselves, you know, and there's drones, there's all of these things, and it's from soil to space feeding the future, because it starts in the soil, and then you have, you know, satellites, all these things, drones in the air. So you have a lot of things to think about for the future of these students, of jobs they can really get to think beyond what they usually think sows and plows, that there's a lot more that goes into that. And we don't want to miss out on those kids. We want them to know that there are so many opportunities and anything is possible, you know, vertical growing now. And there's a lot of people in this community that care so much about the future of the children, and they want them to grow and they want them to have these opportunities. And it starts with creating the space. So when we start showing innovation, we're going to have different speakers throughout the day, and they'll be talking everything from drones to, you know, space things going on with growing, and then things in innovation and engineering, as well as there's one student from UHV who now has employees who started a robotics company. So it's talking about robotics and the future of farming with those things. So it's to get them thinking differently, maybe spark something, and to get them going in a direction for their future that they might not have thought of otherwise.
Well, a few points. I think that's a phenomenal idea, because one of the, I think, major industries that's lacking or has been declining over the years is farm and ranching. And, you know, if you look back at, think back to when we were kids, our friends' dads are a farmer or a rancher or things like that. But you don't hear that very often anymore. And I think, and I can't quote the statistic, but I saw something on TV the other day on the news talking about how basically the amount of farmers and ranchers, that number has dropped dramatically. And then even within those ones that have made it, they've been functioning at losses, and it's one of those things that it seems like the world had moved away from them, and they're just now starting to wake up and realize how important and crucial it is to farming and ranching is the backbone of our country. That's what feeds us. That's what
we all gotta eat. Exactly.
Absolutely, and you know, but it reminds me of like what are the trade jobs, or the jobs when, you know, being a plumber or you know, any electrician, all these. People look down like, I don't want to be a plumber, I don't want to be a farmer or a rancher. Well, one, those are some of the most useful people that we have in our society. But again, farm and ranching, I mean, it literally puts food on the table. And not just there, you know, it provides leather and all sorts of different other industries. And I think I remember when I was in high school, what was it, the FFA and all that kind of stuff. But there was a real value put on that, and the importance of knowing livestock and farming and all that, so we could continue to feed generations. And then at some point it was like, well, that's not important anymore, and we moved on. And I'm so glad that you're looping this back, because if we don't inspire the youth and we don't get them understanding the importance of this, we're not going to have them to do this, and we're going to run out of it. And I don't like the thought of Bill Gates being the biggest farmer in the United States of America. Like, I would rather have some good old South Texas boys out there and all of that. And so if they show up, let's say I'm a little bit nervous, but man, I really want to come to this. What can I expect when I walk in the door? How do you put these things together? Because some people get nervous about walking into groups, but that's kind of what you all's specialty is welcoming them in and taking away that nervous and kind of inspiring them. And so anyway, talk me through how it kind of goes.
Well, you know, when the students show up, they're going to be there, and that's why we have a student from UHV. You know, he can really resonate with them because he's around their age, close to. And then we also have, you know, the provost who's coming, Dr. Chance Glenn. And so he teaches kids, so he has that rapport. And then the drone guy, he's also in that world of drones and innovation, so it's exciting things. So I think it kind of takes down that barrier of, hey, come look at this robot thing that was built, or, oh, look at this, it's not stuffy. Hi, welcome to the farm. You know, we want it to be very immersive, engaging, things that they actually want to learn about. You know, in a day, you hear me say this all the time, we're more connected than ever on our phones and every other device than ever. We're more disconnected. So it's about how to take what is engaging, that side of it, and then also bring them in to get them involved, get them interested, because we don't want it just to be where they're, oh, I'm just going to take an ag class because I'm going to do this and that and just scoot through. We want to actually capture them and make them realize, hey, this could be a really fun career. This could be something that you're really going to like, because think about it. It goes all the way from engineer to working in a lab, learning about new ways to implement fertilizers or growing plants or even feed. Now they can do seed to feed within a week at least, you know, so it's been really cool to see the innovative things that are happening in our world, even with the vertical growing. These are careers and jobs that people can go into that are in that field, but people don't know what they don't know. So we're hoping by showing these students that it will actually help them realize, and then they go home and tell mom and dad, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that, or oh, that's interesting. And you know what's so great about this show is that there's so many other facets to it that are so great. I think people should just go out to check it out, because you really don't know what's happening in this industry. You know, John Deere is one of the biggest employers of engineers in the world. And so it's really cool to see what's happening so you don't get left behind, and to go support our farmers and ranchers and let them know that, hey, we're here, we want to support you, we want to actually see what you're doing. So I think it's great to have this happening for the high school groups, but also beyond that, just go to the show and check it out, because it's different and it's fun. It's actually something you'll really enjoy going to see.
I could not agree more. So on that note, how can they find this event? How can they sign up for it or be part of it? What do they need to do?
So for the high school one, they already have the high school groups coming to that. But for the actual South Texas Farm and Ranch Show, go online. South Texas Farm and Ranch Show, go check it out, and it'll give you all the information you need right there.
Good deal. Well, once again, I think this is phenomenal what you're doing. If people aren't paying attention to what's going on to their table, how it's getting there, all those things, I mean, take a quick walk through H-E-B and look at all the empty store shelves and stuff, and then cruise back out on a Saturday or Wednesday and go to the farmer's market and go talk to those people, and you'll start finding out how important this stuff is and why we need that new generation of leadership and new ways of thinking to try to innovate and make this even better. So well done.
Thank you.
I think you guys just nailed it on this. I think this is spectacular, and anything we can do to put some of the well-earned glory back into these careers. I mean, I would argue that farmers and ranchers are some of the best among us, and they have literally built this country.
Well, and they're so innovative. Like, people don't realize a lot of the big innovations were from actually farmers. I mean, if you really look back over time, the products they've created, the innovation they've created, it actually came from farmers tinkering with things or doing things, finding a way to do it better. So that's what people sometimes are like, oh, farmer, you know, he's just out there plowing the field. No, it's not like that. They are some of the most innovative people I've ever met. And I'm very thankful for that, because every time I eat, it stemmed from, guess what? Farms and ranches and things like that.
Absolutely. Well done. We're big supporters of this. We think it's awesome. Thank you once again for all you do in the community and coming back on. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Chik-fil-A and to all of our sponsors. We appreciate what you guys do. Make sure you get out and support them, because they support us. Lots of fun stuff happening, guys. Get out there and support them, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. Make sure you comment down below, like the post, share the post. It really helps the algorithms. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. And if you have an event coming on you want featured on Victoria Events, shoot us a message. We'd love to help you get the word out there. Lastly, make sure you support our sponsors. We could not do this show without them, so we're very grateful. Thanks so much, Victoria, and we'll see you at the next one.